started, you were cast in the 11th Hour, Matt's first story.
Yeah.
Were you aware when you cast him that? Because it could potentially have just been a one-episode
Yeah.
role. Were you aware that you'd be recurring and coming back?
It was pretty vague. I knew I'd be in some of it, but they, as far as, I mean, I'm sure I signed a contract that said how many episodes I was meant to do. I don't remember that happening. But because they started filming the series before I joined. So they started on episode 2 and 3 or something. I don't know, ones I wasn't in. And I was really excited when Matt got the job, because me and Matt had worked together before, and I was at my granddad's house and saw the news that Matt had got the job as the Doctor. And I texted him to say, "Congratulations, I can't wait to have a pencil case with your face on." Which I still don't own.
I was going to say, it's probably the one bit of merchandise they haven't done.
No, I still don't have a pencil case with Matt's face on. And, you know, didn't expect at all to be in it, and then went for the audition. And the audition process was really quick and really vague. They gave me about 4 pages of script, which had no character detail whatsoever. All the names were changed. None of it really made any sense. And they just went, "Here you go, do this." And so I just made up a character. So all that, you know, it was obvious that he was fairly nervous. But all the kind of bubbling stuff, I just went, I've just got to make a choice. So I just decided to make him desperately awkward. And it seemed to work.
When you first heard the idea of working on a show like Doctor Who, because I imagine, well, like me, when you grew up, it wasn't on screen.
Yeah.
How familiar were you with the series since it came back, and what did it...
I wasn't that familiar. I watched the first, I was really excited when it came back. I watched the first episode, and then, you know, I was quite busy. And, you know, you do other things. It had been on, and I'd watched some of it, but I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't like a fan, which I think was a good thing, because I think then it would have been quite a pressure to audition for something like that, and I probably would have not got the job, actually, because I would have been too nervous. And because of that, it wasn't as daunting as maybe it should have been. Yeah, and since then, you know, I've really fallen in love with it, and I think the way the show's progressed and changed, it's just become brilliant. The writing alone is really amazing, and I feel very lucky to have got the storyline, the story arc that I had. And that was totally down to Steve. And he is someone that you just completely place your trust in. You know, we didn't discuss what was going to happen, or, you know, you imagine that we have all these conversations. You know, I really think my character should do that. It doesn't happen. You get the script and go, "That's brilliant, thank you."
I'm Alex Kingston's father.
Yeah, that was a script I had to read twice. But I guessed it.
I'd like to think you read all of them at least twice.
No, I have a very, very good memory.
No, read them once.
Read them once, that'll do.
Were you aware? I mean, Doctor Who is quite a big publicity machine over in the UK. Were you prepared for the amount of attention you'd received once you were cast?
No, but for me, I've been really lucky being like the third person in it. I let Matt and Karen get most of the attention. Just be the person occasionally saying something that I thought was funny at the time. So, but no, even so, it's been far more than I anticipated. It's a funny thing, I mean, you know this, it's a funny thing about being tucked away in Cardiff, where you feel like you're the, especially when we were up above.
It is another world.
It is another world. You just, you know, and we were there every day. And you forget that you're making a programme that is going to be seen all over the world, and, you know.
It was very Welsh.
It was very Welsh. It was very Welsh where we were. And it was great because of that. It was like a big family of people. You don't, you know, you're not really aware of all this while you're making it. You're just trying each day to tell the truth and be funny, or tell the truth and be sad, or, you know, make sure that you're eating lunch. and not oversleeping, which I did a lot. There's the episode that I got, I'm really bad at mornings. Really bad at mornings. And but we have to be, in work for like 6. Which for me is a ridiculous time to go. So kind of the first few hours of every day I can really remember anyway. So there's like certain scenes where I'm like, did we film that? And there's a scene in, I'm a bad sleeper as well, so I don't sleep much and then I have to wake up early. So I've kind of a bit screwed doing this job so long. And there was the scene on the pirate ship where I fall in the water and end up in Lily Cole's strange hospital. And I knew I'd have to be lying on a bed for 2 days, ostensibly asleep. We were just filming all the scenes around me while I was asleep. But I overslept on the morning, and I slept through my alarm, and then I had 67 missed calls on my phone.
You're not whooping that, are you?
They're terrible. And 67 missed calls. Oh God, it was so embarrassing. And I just didn't sleep the night before, and then I went to bed, and I went home or something, or whatever. I woke up with people, they'd got the keys to my apartment and were knocking at the door, and I was woken up by someone. I was like, oh God, 2 hours late. Just kind of slipped and went, I'm sorry everyone. Just sleep. Which was lovely. And I did fall asleep. So. That's actual sleeping, not acting sleeping. I can do that as well. Thanks.
Proper method acting.
Proper method acting.
Oh dear, we're jumping all around with episodes now. I was going to go, series 1. Were you ever expected to come back in series 2? Did you know you would last for 2.5 series? Did you?
No, not at all. And like Stephen said, every time I'd ask him, he'd go, oh yeah, there's a big plan. And I go, all right, but he'd never say it, he'd never tell you. And but I don't know, I knew every time I was resurrected that I'd be resurrected, which was nice. But did not anticipate it going on for so long.
Do you ever want to say, hang on, I am dying an awful lot?
Yeah, but it was quite enjoyable. It was something quite. It's always nice to have a death scene. Yeah. Not that actually dying. That's kind of. But especially in something like Doctor Who, they're all very dramatic scenes. So it was quite good to be able to practice. Do lots of death scenes.
When you have your ultimate death scene in forthcoming production, you go, yeah, I know how to do that.
I've done this before. Yeah. I quite enjoyed it. I didn't, and I stopped counting, and then I never really, because you just go in day after day and do it, concentrate on what you're doing. I didn't really turn around until afterwards and go, oh God, I really have died quite a lot, haven't I? It just kind of made sense with the stories. Yeah.
And again, Doctor Who is a show unlike any other. You will have situations where you do die repeatedly, or encounter weird monsters, or interact with green screen, or utterly bonkers things. Were you prepared for that? How much did you learn on the set?
I learnt loads, because I hadn't really done that much TV and film stuff before. I had bits and pieces and stuff, but I'd always been very nervous. I'd be much more comfortable, probably still am much more comfortable on stage. But doing Doctor Who really, I found it a real training in how to do it. And they're very, some of the mad stuff, especially towards the end of being suspended up, all the falling scenes we did off the building, we were on ropes, and we were flown by the guy who'd flown Christopher Reeve. And that was just mad. And so many times doing it was like living my very young childhood fantasies of being in Indiana Jones or Back to the Future, which was in terms of films. That's what, when I was a kid, that's the type of film I expected to be doing. And then suddenly, you're in a western town, running away from cowboys, or you're, on a pirate ship. It's like, this is just bonkers. I expected to be doing serious, gritty dramas. But then we also got that as well.
Yeah.
It's like the breadth of it was so. The experience of doing comedy and drama and sci-fi and very true realism, it was amazing.
Was there ever anything you sort of wished you had a chance to do, which you never got to on Who? Any scenarios that you...
No.
No. Ticked all the boxes.
Yes, I'm entirely satisfied by the whole thing. I always wanted to do that just for myself. I liked some of the ones where we got to go back into real periods of history. We would like to have gone back to like the 60s or something.
Yeah.
We never got to do that. But no, I was pretty happy with... Because when we left, although it was very sad, it was very much a mutual decision by myself, Karen, and Stephen, and Ben, when they were there. And we sat down with them kind of mid-series 6, and they just went, how long were you thinking you'd stay? We went, how long were you thinking we would? And we kind of chatted about it, and we're like, yeah, probably about another, we'll finish this one, do another half, and then leave. They're like, yeah, cool, that's kind of what we were thinking too. So it was really nice. We felt very included in that decision. It wasn't like something you read the script and go, oh, but we are coming back to life, right? Oh, no, okay, cool, fine. It felt like we were very much included in that decision, so it felt exactly like the right amount of time to do. There's nothing worse than overstaying your welcome on something.
Did you have any input? Did they ask you how you wanted to leave? Did they say, would you like to be killed off? Would you like to have it left open? Or?
It was kind of pointless to say, but we said, yeah, we'll stay and do, but we'd like a big ending. Like it to be really big and emotional and important. And we're like, yeah, of course. I think we're just going to drop you off somewhere. Bye. All of them. So yeah. But by that point we were so trusting of what they had already done with us. And, reading that last episode of the script was... Kaz didn't read it for ages because she was like, but it was really, it felt right. It felt like the right way to go.
Absolutely. Suddenly, I was going to ask you a question,
Go on. Is it a dirty question? Question, but I realise there's lots of people watching.
One of the things you talk about, you've spoken a lot about Matt and Karen, we should probably talk about
Yes.
how the dynamic, because it was such a strong dynamic for a Doctor and Companion
Yes.
team, and obviously they'd worked together before you joined. How did it feel, as you say, having worked with Matt and then coming into that little unit, how quickly did you get that dynamic?
I think it wasn't immediate, but I'm bad at first days. I make a really bad impression on first days because I'm just terrified, so very awkward, clumsy, and just say the wrong thing. But because I'd worked with Matt before, and Adam Smith, who directed the first episode, who directed The 11th Hour, who's also a bit of a genius, we'd worked together on, I think, a Little Dorrit, and I just think he's brilliant and really easy to work with. So actually my first day was really enjoyable. It just felt like it made sense. And then my second day I was really nervous and bumpy, but the first day was fine. The first time I met Karen was at the read-through and she was wearing heels.
Towering over you.
Oh God. And so I went up to her and was like, oh hi, I'm playing your boyfriend. She was just like, oh, you're I was like, Jesus, they're going to have to dig her a hole or something. I was just like, this is not, that's what I'm here for, just to be short.
Yeah, because you're the shortest
Exactly, I
person.
wasn't expecting this. But then she took her heels and was like, actually, a little bit taller. So that was fine. But the thing is, you got so much time, especially filming that first episode, it rains a lot in Wales. And we were on that village green for days on end, just sitting there, waiting for the rain to go. Under a broy, just like, bored. And so we just start chatting, you start a rapport, which then ends up being conversation that no one else can understand, because we spent so much time with each other and developed these horrible personalities with each other where we just completely took the piss out of each other. To the point where it got a bit, we got really worried that, you know, people coming in for an episode or 2 episodes were just looking at us going, those guys are weird. I don't like them. And we had to go, like, we kept saying to each other, we have to really make an effort with everyone because we're just behaving oddly. So that stopped. But that was another thing. Getting to work with all the other guest stars was just, you know, every 4 weeks you're working with a whole new cast of people.
Well, that's it. Whole new set. It's not like any other ongoing series. Every single story, you've got a new location, a new guest cast. You had to, you know, visited every castle in Wales.
Every castle in Wales. Yeah, every field in Wales.
What was your favourite location to work at?
My favourite ones were the foreign ones. There was, I don't know, there's something about Cardiff Castle which is like, because you're in Cardiff, no, it's horrible. It's really cold and wet and horrible. My favourite ones were probably, I mean, Utah was amazing. Utah!